So let me guess, you want to be more likable with people. That's why you clicked on a video on how to make people like you. Well, you're in luck, because I'm going to cover 5 tips in this video today. As an expert in this, I have helped people do this for over a decade now. So you're getting the real deal stuff, not only that I know and have used for myself, but I have helped other people use this as well to become more likable. And before we jump in, I just want to welcome you to the channel, or welcome you back if you're a current subscriber. This is Coach David, and I help smart, ambitious people become the best, most confident versions of themselves so they can create the life that they want, whether that's relationships with people, career, business. And when I started this channel, it was all about helping people overcome social anxiety. I still make videos on this. I just did a crash course recently that you should check out if you're interested in that. I'll put it in the description below. But this topic, again, is near and dear to my heart, and I'm gonna cover these 5 tips, so make sure that you stay to the end to get all 5 tips, and a 6th bonus tip that I'm throwing in for you so you can really become a more likable person. Okay, without further ado, let's dive into step key number 1, and that is being open to others. Openness, right? Now, there is a general kind of openness that can happen personality-wise where people are open to other ideas and stuff. Have you ever heard of the Ocean personality test? I actually score high in openness. I am very open to new ideas and all kinds of things, but we're talking about openness to people, right? And of course, if you're struggling with social anxiety and the like, the openness is probably pretty low right now, but it can all change, and you can strive to be more open. And whether you have social anxiety or not, when you're coming to this, and you just want to be more likable, maybe you're socially awkward, you don't feel particularly anxious around people, or maybe you don't realize you do, and you just need to practice being more open, being more friendly. Well, this always works. And in line with this is being curious and interested in others. Actually taking an interest, being curious about them, their lives, what they're up to, asking questions. Huge skill set I work on with people as well. It works like crazy. I remember when I had one of my first social mentors back in the day when I lived in New York, and he taught me how you could have people think you were the most interesting person in the room and you barely talked about yourself because you used your curiosity and your listening to allow people to talk and also reveal things about themselves that they normally wouldn't reveal, so they felt more connected to you. Now, I will say that with the caveat, you have to be relaxed and socially comfortable, because I have people that come to me for help and they're like, yeah, I ask a lot of questions and I listen, but they're really anxious, and that comes out in their vibe. It goes without saying that you've got to actually be fairly socially comfortable for something like that to work, but it does work. And so you could actually go around making people like you without even sharing anything or very little about yourself. It's kind of crazy, but that's how it works. All right, next tip number 2 is work those nonverbals, my friend. That's smiling, that's eye contact, and sort of tied to the first one, open, relaxed body language, but especially smiling and eye contact. This is scientifically proven, right? If people are looking at us in the eyes some of the time, not all the time, we feel more comfortable, we feel more connected. You know, there's that social, emotional feeling of connection. If we're smiling, that shows that we're friendly. If we walk into a room and we even have a slight smile on our face, or we quickly go into a smile when we see somebody, this shows openness and friendliness by working these nonverbals as I'm talking about here. Yes, comfortable and relaxed body language helps, but smiling and eye contact just straight up works, and it works well. Okay, and tip number 3, which you may not hear if you've seen other videos or articles on this, but which I'm a big fan of, and especially if somebody is socially awkward or socially anxious, is to be proactive, right? Because a lot of times people with anxiety or awkward might be on the passive side of things. So when we're proactive, we're putting energy in, and people can feel that. It also comes across as outgoing, which is a likable characteristic overall, as long as you're cool and friendly and open, right, and take interest in people and not some kind of, jerk about stuff, and you're, not coming up and asking strange questions or being aggressive, right? That's a form of proactive that we're not talking about here. But just being proactive and putting that energy in can show people that you care, that you're interested, and really add to your likability. And make sure you stay till the end again, because I have a bonus tip that is not a normally talked about one, but is actually super powerful and has everything to do with your vibe. And the 4th tip here is to share something about yourself. And I often talk about this in the form of statements or I statements, right? And sometimes when people have things like social anxiety, they can really get stuck into asking questions and listening and not revealing much about themselves. Now, I know I said that you could become likable without doing that, but that's in the case of somebody who doesn't have social anxiety or isn't really socially awkward or something like this. If you have a problem sharing about yourself, being vulnerable, as Brene Brown would call it, but not oversharing, right? Not getting into really negative, weird details that people don't want to hear socially. That's just the way it kind of works. You know, those details are for closer relationships with friends, but not for new people. And being more likable, whether at work or in social situations, right? This sharing, this vulnerable aspect is proven by Brene Brown in her studies that it brings people closer together, and that makes you more likable, right? We want to feel closer to people and connected. That is likability, and that happens through sharing and or vulnerability. And the fifth tip is be giving or be a giver. Okay, and sometimes I talk about this with clients is in the form of give, help, and inspire, right? One thing that I learned from one of my mentors is that people, when we're being social, when we're in conversation, maybe even in a professional conversation, they want a sense of relief, right? Or they want a sense of escape. Now, this really applies to social situations, right? Like if people are going out at night or to parties, they want to sort of let off steam. And if we can help them do that, even just a little bit by being funny, by talking about topics that aren't related to things stressing them out, aka work, politics, religion, things that bring up deep beliefs which need to be stayed away from in terms of social connection. If you can help them feel just a bit better, right? That's the goal here. And yes, sometimes it might be helping them, doing them a favor, or finding a way to help them in that kind of service sense, but I'm really not even talking about that here, right? Give, help, inspire. It's a very, very powerful thing. And once I learned this, I had overcome social anxiety, but then I wanted to up my social level even more. And I hired this mentor, and they showed me this, and it really exploded things for me in terms of likability, attracting people to me, right? Magnetic vibe, social vibe, if we want to call it that. We'll give, help, inspire. Find ways, again, it can be lighthearted, it can be fun by making people laugh, bringing a sense of value to the conversation that they normally wouldn't have, talking about an interesting topic perhaps, where they have a unique experience and they're drawn to you, but you have an intention of coming in almost like a social purpose to give, help, and inspire people no matter who they are. It comes out in your vibe. It's very powerful. And I've got one more bonus tip for you, but before I get into that, I want to let you know, beneath this video, I have a couple things for you, especially if you're struggling with social anxiety, being confident around people, likable, all that. I've got a 10 keys to being less anxious and nervous around people. And then I have also got a social confidence training below. You can sign up for one or both of those, invite you to do that. And make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, smash those both if you're not a subscriber and you like the stuff, of course, only if you want to see more. But definitely hit the like button. It will send this out to people who are looking for help with this kind of stuff. And I really appreciate it. Help the channel grow, but also help other people out there that are looking for help with this topic like you are. And the sixth bonus tip here that I'm going to talk about is bring a sense of well-being. Actually become a relaxed person, because people, especially these days, are stressed, they're anxious about all kinds of things in life. I'm not talking about even social anxiety here. And they just want to feel good. And there's this way that I uncovered, that I found, that if we have a general sense of well-being, that we become happy in our own lives. It's sort of this strange hack in a way, but it's really true. And my mentor taught me this as well. If you bring that sense of well-being, that you're generally a go with the flow type person, okay, at least in social situations you are, right? That people are drawn to that because they're stressed and they want to escape and they want to, just feel better. And that comes out in your vibe, that relaxation. We can feel it. We can all take a look here in our own lives. When somebody's really stressed or mad or angry, you can be like, whoa, it makes you kind of standoffish to that person, right? That affects their likability. You don't feel like you want to be around them or in their energy or in their vibe as much. So if you actually work on being happy in other areas of your life, this will translate to your vibe wherever you go. Again, same mentor showed me this. Massive Not always easy, I get it, depending on where you're at in your life path, right? But if you bring a sense of that well-being, it will translate to your vibe and people will be drawn to it and you'll be more likable. So here we are. Thanks so much for watching. Always appreciate you being a viewer or subscriber here. Make sure to check the description in the comments for the trainings I mentioned. Also, drop a comment. Love to hear from you. Any thoughts? Have you tried this stuff? Struggle with any of this? Any other questions that you might have? And until next video, I'm complete. See ya.